Now, welcome to the second lecture of set theory. Here, the topic is intervals as a subset of R. This topic is very helpful in linear inequation chapter. Now, please understand what is interval. Actually, we talk about interval when the value of x belongs to real number and there are infinite values. So, here it is not possible to write all the elements in roster form. So, interval form actually are the indirect form of set builder form. So, here one interval is shown which is closed interval AB. It means the value of x is real number and it is equal to a, greater than a, and less than b, and equal to b also. It means in closed interval we consider boundary values also. These are the corner values, so we will consider these values also. You see, this is a number line. So on a number line, when the interval is closed, we can say the value of x is equal to a, greater than, and maximum value is b, and which is less than. Means you can see here on a and b there is a solid circle. So solid circle means we are taking the corner values as well as all the values which lies between a and b. That's why you can see a thick line between a b. So thick line means there are infinite values of x here. And one more representation is for closed interval. You can write AB here, and just above this number line on above of A you can write a solid circle as well as above of B. Make a solid circle and join this line. It means you are saying the value of x is a, greater than a, as well as it is maximum b, and it is less than b. So both representations are correct. Now in open interval we represent it by a small bracket, whereas closed interval is represented by capital bracket or big bracket, which is rectangular bracket also. Now it is known as x is real number, but x is between AB. So we are not including boundary values or corner values because it is open interval. So in open interval, corner values are excluded. You can see this is the representation when the interval is open. It means the value of x is greater than a and less than b. But between AB there are infinite values which we are including in open interval. This is also a representation of open interval. Just above a and b, draw a hollow circle and join the line. Now third and fourth type is semi-open or semi-closed. Semi-open or semi-closed means this interval is open from one side and closed on other side. Say this is open interval A and closed interval B. It means the value of x is greater than a, but it is not equal to a. It is greater than a, but finally it is equal to b as well as less than b. Now you can see here there is a hollow circle on a because the value of x is not included, but solid circle at b because the value of b is included. Same case is here when it is written closed interval a and open interval b. So this interval is also semi-open or semi-closed. So the value of x is taken as a but greater than a, but finally it is less than b. So when it is less than b there is no equality. That's why on b we have a hollow circle and at a there is a solid circle. Now next important topic is Venn diagram, and this concept is very helpful in understanding the operation of sets. Now in Venn diagram you can see in this first diagram there are two circles. This outer circle is B and inner circle is A, and this is a rectangle. So this rectangle is always represent as a universal set. So this is U actually. This is not actually U, this is a symbol of U and it is known as universal set. Similar case is here, there are two intersecting circles, whereas in third case there are two circles but these are non-intersecting circles. So if you observe the first case, this circle A is actually in circle B, or we can say the circle B contains circle A. I think there is a definition of subset. It means when set B or circle B contains circle A, we can say this A is the subset of B. So this is the easiest way of representation when a set is a subset of other set. In second case, these are intersecting circles. So when they are intersecting, it means both circles are not equal. And we have some common elements also, because see in this part there are some common elements because which belongs to A as well as which belongs to B. So this is actually the intersection part of two circles and it is known as intersection of two sets. Similar is here, when the two non-intersecting circles are present inside a universal set, it means these are the example of disjoint set. Two sets are disjoint when they have no common elements, or we can say their intersection is phi. So this is the symbol of intersection, this is phi, which is null set. Remember always, all the sets which are represented in the form of circles inside a rectangular box are always the subset of U. It means all the sets are actually subset of U. Now come to the operations on set, and we will take help of Venn diagram here. Like one operation is union of sets. So as the name suggests, union means you merge both set. So in union of sets, we will take only those elements which belong to either to A or to B or to both A and B. So A union B means, because this is the set builder representation of union of two set, because remember union of two set is a set which is represented by set builder form. So we are writing that in A union B there is an element X and this X belongs to A or this X belongs to B. Means this X is free, either it may be from A or it may be from B. Okay, so it means when X belongs to A union B, we can say that X belongs to A or X belongs to B. This is wrong. So this X belongs to A or X belongs to B. So remember, in case of union we write or. Means there is no possibility, we are not sure where is X. So X may be in A or X may be in B. So when X does not belongs to A union B, we can say that X does not belongs to A and X does not belongs to B, because we are sure here that X is not present in both A and B. So that's why I have written and. Now this is the representation of union of two sets. So means union means this is the green part. So this green part is actually union, means this X may be here, this may be here or this may be here. So we will means color or the whole circles. So you can see here in union this A part is also included as well as B and as well as their common part. So it is clear that this circle A is actually the part of green portion. So we can say this circle A is the subset of A union B, because this circle A is the part of union. So easily we can say that A is always the subset of A union B, and you must remember this fact also. And similarly we can say this B is also a subset of A union B, because B is the part of A union B. And also when A is a subset of B, then what will be A union B? It will be B. Just think about it. When A is a subset of B, then A union B is B. Why it is B? Let's take, say this is a rectangular box which is universal set. So when A is a subset of B, it means set B will contain set A. It means set A is inside set B. So what will be the union? Because union is the whole shaded part. So you can see here this A union B becomes whole circle B. So when A is a subset of B, we will say that A union B is always B, and you have to remember this fact also. And similarly, when B is a subset of A, then A union B will be A, because in that case A will be out, B will be inside. So when we shed both part, we will get A. Okay. Take one small example. When set A is 1 2 3 and set B is 1 3 5 7, then A union B means 1 2 3 5 7, because while writing A union, this is not universal, this is union. So while writing A union B, you have to write the elements of A and as well as elements of B. If there are some common elements, like here 3 is the common which is present in A as well as in B, so we will write only once, because in a set we cannot repeat the element. So write the elements of A, this is 1 2 3, so 1 2 3, and write the elements of B, which is 1 3 5 7, so 1 and 3 already written, so no need to write again. So it is 1 3 and 5 7 extra I have written. So union means simply merging of two sets. So this is union. Another example is written in set builder form. A is a set whose elements are x such that x is equal to 2n plus 1, where n belongs to z. Z means z is set of integers, and the set B is x such that x is equal to 2n and small n belongs to z. So just think what will be the A union B. So if we observe, this is actually odd number, because when n is 1 it becomes 3, when n is 0 it becomes 1. So when n becomes minus 1, it becomes minus 1. So basically we will get all the odd integers when we put n is equal to z. So A is a set which is a set of odd integer, and in set B when we put 0 we will get 0, for 1 it is 2, and for 2 it is 4. Similarly for minus 1 it is minus 2, and for minus 2 it is minus 4. So B is a set of even integers. So indirectly we can say A is a set of odd integers and B is a set of even integers. So A union B means set of even integers as well as set of odd integers. So we can also say that x is an element which is an integer, because either it is even or odd. So we can say A union B is mainly set Z. Please note one point. When there are different sets like A1, A2, A3, AN, and this is a finite family of sets, then the union of whole sets like A1 union A2 union A3 and finally union AN, it can be written in summation form. This is a big union AI, where I starts from 1 to n. I hope it is clear. Now come to the next operation, which is intersection of two sets. So in intersection we will take those elements that belong to both set A and B. Here I am saying add, whereas in case of union we were saying or. So here we are sure that those elements which are present in A as well as in B. So we will write this A intersection B is equal to x such that x belongs to A and x belongs to B. Whereas in place of and, if I am writing or, it will become union. So this is the basic difference between union and intersection. So in union we are not sure where is x, but in intersection x is present in both A and B. So when x belongs to A intersection B, we can say x belongs to A and x belongs to B. You can see the representation of intersection of sets. So here two intersecting circles are actually set A and B, and this rectangular box is universal set. So their common part is actually intersection part, and this green part is actually A intersection B. So we can easily say this green part is actually a part of set A. So we can say that A intersection B is always a subset of A, because all the elements of A intersection B will belongs to set A, and similarly this A intersection B is also a subset of B. I hope it is clear. Now when A is a subset of B, it means A intersection B will be A. Why I am saying when A is a subset of B, you can see in this Venn diagram, this A will be in circle B because set B contains set A. So intersection of two sets means common part. So this common part is actually green part, and this green part is A. So that's why when A is a subset of B, A intersection B will be A, and similarly when B is a subset of A, then A intersection B will be B. And this is the same note when there are different sets from A1 to AN, their intersection will be written as a big intersection AI, where I is from 1 to N. Now let's take a problem. What is actually intersection? Here this A is 1 2 3 4 5, and this set B is 1 3 9 12. So intersection means we have to take common elements. So here the common elements are 1 and 3. I think 1 and 3 are common. So this is intersection of two sets. Similarly, when A is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, and this B is 2 4 6 8 10, and set C is 4 6 7 8 9 10 11, then A intersection B will be 2 4 6, and this A intersection B intersection C will be 4 and 6, because A intersection B intersection C means you have to take common elements which are present in A, in B and in C. So this 4 is present in A, it is in B, and it's also in C. And similarly this 6 is common in all the three sets. Now when A is a set whose element is x such that x is equal to 3n, where n belongs to z. So when we put z is equal to 1, we will get 3, for 2 we will get 6. So actually we are getting 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, means we are getting multiple of 3, whether it is negative or positive. Similarly, set B is a set in which elements are multiple of 4, means we are getting minus 4, minus 8, minus 12, or plus 4, plus 8, plus 12. These are the multiple of 4. So we are taking intersection. So intersection means x is a multiple of 3, and intersection we write and, so we are writing and 4, means x is a multiple of 3 and x is a multiple of 4. It means x is a multiple of 12. So we can write that when x is a multiple of 12, we will write x is equal to 12n, where n belongs to z. And we can also do one thing, we can write this set in roster form and this set B, and just take intersection, you will get the same result. Now what is disjoint set? So disjoint set means those sets which are non-intersecting sets, or in which there is no common element. So you can see here A intersection B is 5, so therefore A and B are disjoint sets. Now come to a very colorful page, and here you can see when A is 1 2 3 4 5 and B is 6 7 8 9 10. Can you find me a common element? I think there is no common element, so that's why A intersection B is phi or null set. So this is an example of disjoint sets. Now next operation on set is difference of sets. So this difference is different from the real number operation, because in real number actually we subtract second element from first element, but here this difference is another one, this set of those elements which belong to A but not in B. So means when A and B are two sets and we are writing A minus B, so it means we will take only those elements which are present in A but not in B. So the set builder representation of A minus B is actually X such that X belongs to A and X does not belongs to B. Or we can say when X belongs to A, X does not belongs to B. Here you can see there are two sets. These are intersecting sets. So this green part is actually a part which includes A but not B. You can see this common portion is white. So in this common portion actually A is present as well as B is present. But for A minus B we have to take those parts which are present in A but not in B. Actually this white part is present in A, but this white part at the same time is present in B also. So that's why we will leave it. So this green parts, this green representation is A minus B, whereas this representation is B minus A. So we can say this A minus B is always a subset of A. I think it is clear. And similar cases here, this B minus A is a subset of B. One more interesting conclusion we can draw from here, that when we merge this part, this common part and this part, we will get A union B. So we can write A minus B union B minus A union, this is A intersection B. So all the union will gives us A union B. Now when A is 2 3 4 5 6 7 and B is 3 5 7 9 11 13, so you can see A minus B. So A minus B, we will take those elements which are present in A but not in B. So check one by one. This 2 is present in A and this 2 is not in B. So we will take this 2, and this 3 is present here and this 3 is here. So we will not take, because we will take those elements which are present in A but not in B. This 4 is present in A but not present in B. So I will write this 5 is present in A and this is also present in B. So we will leave it. The 6 is here but 6 is not here. So this is A minus B. Similarly for B minus A, we will take those elements which are in B but not in A. So here 9, 11 and 13 are present in B and these elements are not in A. So we will write here. Okay. And you can check here also what is intersection. So I think intersection is 3 and 5. So when you merge all the things, you will get 2, 4, 6, 9, 11, 13, 3, 5. Okay. And which is nothing but A union B. So this result is true. Now next is symmetric difference of two sets. So this symmetric difference is that we already know this portion is A minus B and this portion is B minus A. When we take union of both portion, we will write it A delta B, or it is asymmetric difference B. So asymmetric difference B means A delta B means A minus B union B minus A, or we can say those elements which does not belongs to A intersection B is actually A delta B, because when we are leaving A intersection B, it means we are talking about A minus B as well as B minus A. So A delta B is A minus B union B minus A. So here A is a set where x belongs to R and x is greater than 0, less than 3. And please focus on this question. This is very important question. And this set B is x belongs to R and this x is from 1 to 5. Actually it is based on intervals. So what will be A minus B and what is A B minus A? So you can take help of number line here. First of all, draw set A on number line. So you write, you can see what are the points. These are 0, 3, 1 and 5. So we will show only these points without taking scale. So this horizontal line is a number line and you write these points like 0, then 1, then 3, then 5. So randomly we have written these points in increasing order. And now just see this A set says that x is greater than 0 and less than 3. So you can write a hollow circle above 0 and a hollow circle on 3 above 3 because inequality is not present and this is a open interval. So we will write hollow circle and we will join a line. So this upper line is the representation of set A. I hope it is clear. And the set B is actually closed interval type and the value of x is from -1 to 5. So above 1 and above 5 write a solid circle and join this line. Now you can clearly observe while writing A minus B, we will take only elements which are present in A but not in B. So you can see those elements which are present in A will start from here. So means x belongs to x is greater than 0 and finally it will be here because when we will take x equal to 1 it will be in set B. So we will leave it. So we have to take those elements which are present in A but not in B. So these elements are actually greater than 0 and less than 1. So this is A minus B, and for B minus A, take those elements which are not present in A but present in B. So see here this portion actually is not in B. So we will write that this B minus A will be from 3 to 5. So here this B minus E is closed interval 3 to 5 whereas A minus B is open interval A minus B means open interval 0 to 1. So what is A delta B? So A delta B means A minus B union B minus A. So we can write that x belongs to R and x is between 0 to 1. Since we are taking union, so we will write or, don't write and here. And this B minus A is x is greater than equal to 3 less than equal to 5. I hope it is clear. So this number line actually sometimes makes the question very easy. Now come to complement of a set. So complement is dash or C. So A dash or AC. So complement of a set means, so you leave that set and shed the whole part. So means A dash means elements which does not belongs to A but belongs to U. So we can also say that A dash means U minus A, or A dash is equal to X is an element which belongs to universal but it does not belongs to set A. So this is A dash. So we are leaving A but we have shaded the whole portion. So it means X is not present in A but it is present everywhere in U except A. So this is the definition of complement. So actually complement of a set means it is the difference. It is the difference of universal and that set. So you must remember, like b dash means u minus b, c dash means u minus c. So similarly we can say what will be universal complement. This is interesting result. So this universal complement means x belongs to universal but it does not belong to universal. Like same definition, a dash means x will be in u but it will not be in a. So similarly, when in place of a I am writing u, we will write x belongs to u but x not belongs to this set u. This is a contradiction, so therefore it is a null set. So you must remember, like u dash is always phi. Similarly, phi dash means x belongs to u but x not belongs to phi. From this definition you can write everything by this definition. So x belongs to u and x not belongs to phi. So when x not belongs to phi, it means x is present in u. What is a dash whole dash? So for a dash whole dash, consider this as a. So we'll write x belongs to u but x not belongs to a dash. So when x not belongs to a dash, it means it will belongs to a, because when x is not present in complement, it will be present in set, because of the condition. When x is not present in a dash, when x is present in a dash, x will not be present in a. So this is vice versa. So when x is present in u and x is present in a, so finally x will be present in a. Similarly, last theorem says that a union a dash is always universal and a intersection a dash is always phi. So next topic after this is De Morgan's law. So I think it's enough for today. Meanwhile, you solve problems based on operations on set, and my next video will be based on De Morgan's law and on others theorem. Thank you so much.